How many artists are faking their streams today? A lot. Shouts out to J. Cole all the way back in 2018 for letting us know how many are faking their streams, getting their plays from machines. Now, I feel this is a topic that doesn't get discussed enough whenever it comes to the revenue artists get from streaming platforms. I mean, we get it. We understand that they get paid pennies. We understand the labels say, yeah, not the labels, streaming platforms put up this front that they calculate this to, this is the most we could give them is bullshit. Again, there's a case going on right now where streaming platforms are refusing to increase the percentage they agreed on. Search it up or watch one of my previous video. But briefly, I believe it was supposed to be a 15% increase. They haven't met the 15% increase in the past 5 years. So now we're having issues. And with that, it doesn't get talked about enough, but illegal streaming farms and how it impacts the amount of money artists get paid on streaming platforms. Now, I'm going to be citing Rolling Stone, two Rolling Stone articles, with one of them stating that it's calculated that about $300 million in 2019 was the amount of money lost or, giving to bots, fake accounts, just fake streams. $300 million that can be given to an actual artist, putting money in their pocket. And it's funny because recently, if you saw my video that I did about Joe Rogan, people will find any other way or any other reason to show how money's being taken away from artists, except an acceptable, I guess, source. Not even in an acceptable manner. They got to go find bullshit. Because at the end of the day, Joe Rogan's contract brings money. Spotify is a business. You get it. But the $300 million that's lost in 2019, not just for Spotify, but in total with all streaming platforms, what are you doing about it? Why are they not catching enough heat with it? And this goes on to the second part. There isn't any, it's not, I wouldn't say discipline. Repercussions, there we go. There's not any repercussions for an artist to get called out having fake streams or a label. It's honestly a slap on the wrist. Now, there was this code of conduct that was agreed by music industries all over, from Spotify, Amazon, Warner, Universal, Sony. They have this code of conduct where basically, again, I'm just summarizing real quick. It's a slap on the wrist if anybody gets exposed for having fake streams. Ideally, you should have the need to tell whoever it is, like, oh, I'm using fake streams, or if you know somebody that is, report it to your boss, so on and so forth. And then you get a slap on the wrist. Just don't do it again. Obviously, no one's going to report they're doing this because, number one, they're making money. Number two, it's their job to make artists look big. And number three, who wants to snitch on themselves? Or somebody else working in a corporation who's probably being instructed to do this. And again, Rolling Stone makes some excellent points on a way we could combat this would be any song or album that gets exposed for having a large fake amount of streams, they're not able to chart. So if you're not able to chart, you're not able to get that top 5, top 10, top 50, that means the media isn't going to be talking about you, which means reach is going to be lost. Money is going to be lost. Longevity is going to be lost. Another good way to help combat this would be the artist doesn't earn any money at all, which is great. I feel that's amazing. Not only that, but the amount of fake albums that are uploaded to these streaming platforms, somebody can copy and paste Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly under a completely different name, actually be his album, and the streams a person get count. So I would say the verification process is another factor in all of this that doesn't get discussed enough, along with illegal streaming farms. And overall, this is just something I would like to see expanded on. By who? Not sure, but I want to talk about it. Educate y'all. Y'all could probably educate me on this, on some things I don't know. And with that, we've seen it. We've seen it over the years, especially artists that were hot at some point falling off, but it's a bit weird. With tens, millions of followers, you got 30, 40 million listeners on Spotify, but you're not able to push 5K, 10K. More reasonable. Let me stop talking that bullshit, but more reasonable. You're not able to do 100K. Something's up. And we've seen people like French Montana get exposed publicly. G-Eazy get exposed publicly. And just recently, Genius, I don't know if they premiered it for Vice, but they showed the trailer for Vice's upcoming documentary on illegal streaming farms. I don't know if it's the last one by Michael K. Williams, long live Michael K. Williams, but he's featured in it as well. And they name drop French Montana on there. So it's a little side shot by Genius trying to push this narrative out there. Will they take a stance and sort of put their foot down to, because they're all about helping the artists? Are they just going to keep this on a hush? Are the labels paying Genius to be like, hey, don't expose too much? But with that, Genius and Vice, one of the only outlets that I have seen sort of discuss this, sort of throw it in the wind out there. And back to what I was saying earlier. If somebody got more Spotify monthly listeners than J. Cole, and they can't sell out arenas, we got an issue, right? We got an issue. And at first it seems small, but for anybody that wants to be a true advocate for artists getting paid their money, their fair due, whether you yourself are an artist, these topics need to get discussed. It needs to be brought into the limelight and taken seriously. And I will say this, I don't know how many times in whichever video, always, if you're able to, if you can afford it, buy the music if you enjoy it and want it. Don't feel ashamed if you only want to stream music and save money, because who am I to knock you down? Do your thing. But understand it goes way deeper than these labels and streaming platforms just giving the fair cut. A good amount, sometimes it's just the business. Other times they're on their bullshit. And then there's, I guess, another third where it's just, got some shit behind the scenes that really there's no way to solve it. Now that 300 million, I'm pretty sure through the pandemic and these streaming platforms growing every year, this is my own number. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like at 500 mil right now. But think about it, not just for Spotify, but all streaming platforms as a whole, 500 mil could potentially be missing. That could be in your pocket, somebody you know's pocket, or someone you listen to's pocket. Let that be a discussion. That's it with this video. I'm going to drop another one for you guys. I'm going to give you 2 bangers today. Thank you for the support. We're about, 2 months into this podcast. I got some interesting things coming your way. I'm not going to spoil it on here because when you see it, you see it. When it drops, it drops. Am I right? I'm out.